Plus. I am IP professional, so I know that for the startup, finding patent always costs a lot of money. And we also spend a lot of time to study complex field and cross-language barrier. Well, that is good for me, but maybe not good for the startup. That is why we create AI Plus, a global bilingual IP protection platform with AI assisting function to serve both founder and lawyer. Through our system, startup can reduce legal fee by 80% and lawyer can lower the working hour by 40%. We have already partnered with over 10 incubators and reach out more than 100 startups. We charge both of startup and lawyer per case, and we expect to reach $2 million USD revenue by end of 2021 alone. We are IP professionals with more than 20 years of experience, so we know what is our client needed. If you are interested, feel free to talk to us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Thibaut. I'm French. I'm the Deputy CEO of Unigym. I've been in Asia for about 10 years working in international business operation development, and I joined Unigym last year. Unigym was founded in 2018 by Jia Lin and Filia Wang, who are actually married. We have now 25 people with skills in AI development, telecom, and IT. Our tech leaders are TJ, Chris, based in China, and Rock and Greg are our operations manager. We have offices in mainland China and Taiwan, and we will open one in Europe in 2021. So what we do is we use several AI engines to, one, produce fitness content 10 times faster than manual edition, and two, to make any fitness video content interactive for a better user experience. We use B2B2C model in partnership with operators, VOD carriers, or smart equipment manufacturers. We have been selected by Orange Fab Asia. We won the Decathlon Taiwan Demo Day last year. We won 2 awards at the Hype Sport Innovation Demo Day. We won the Taiwan Sport Administration Award this year, and we are applying now for Le Tremplin Accelerator in Paris. Unigym started as an NGO. We believe that AI technology and connected fitness should be as democratic as possible. Not only for people already fit or able to buy $1,000 equipment to do fitness at home. One of the challenges of the fitness industry, especially gyms, is to bring people to gyms and how to connect with them outside the gyms. Obviously, the COVID-19 didn't help. We are an AI startup. We developed for 2 years several AI engines that give us an advantage in terms of content creation speed. We produce fitness video content 10 times faster than a professional video editor. And our motion detection AIs are using 20 key skeleton points with less than 20 milliseconds latency. So we created a lot of content already with no restriction on what type of fitness activity. Yoga, Pilates, boxing, for example. Compared to the competition, we are cheaper, we are more agile, and we provide interactive experience. For example, the minimum fees for Peloton is about $39 USD per month. Our subscription is 6 times cheaper and no need to buy a $1,500 USD equipment. We have worked a lot to generate tractions in the last month. We have signed MOUs and agreements with several companies, the first one in Taiwan being with Cable TV carrier. They have here 2 million members, and since we started last week, we registered about 200 new users per day. So what we want to do is to provide technology so that anyone can access some physical activities. Our impact is to make digital sport not only for elite, but for everyone.
Hi, my name's Susan Blanchette. I'm the CEO of Origin Air. We create smart living air purifiers that filter microscopic pollutants and pathogens from indoor air. We now have a team of 8, plus 2 additional engineers through a partnership with MINATEC and the university. Our C-suite consists of Andrew Crawford, our plant specialist and technical visionary, Ryan Leider, our microbiologist and software engineer, Jim Crawford, our CFO, and myself, former legal counsel of 14 years. Additionally, we have a VP of Marketing and Digital Media, VP of Sustainable Business Development, and VP of Operations. We have a technical board of advisors who assist us from the science and engineering side, and a business development board that helps with our strategy moving forward. We've been accepted to several incubators, including IndieBio in New York and have raised over $400,000 in pre-seed investment capital and non-dilutive funding. We are also the proud winners of the 2020 PHASE program and are excited to be presenting at High Level Forum. My passion for removing toxins from indoor air started 20 years ago when my father was diagnosed with early onset dementia. This is known to be caused by poor indoor air quality. Today, humans spend 90% of our time indoors. Poor air quality affects 80% of buildings, and this inadequate air has been proven to increase the risk of heart attack, pulmonary disease, organ damage, as well as mental health issues such as Alzheimer's and depression. At Origin, we use genetically modified pothos ivy, developed over 15 years by engineers at the University of Washington. These plants have been edited to include a mammalian liver enzyme, specifically designed to remove volatile organic carcinogens. The Sentinel, our freestanding model of our smart living air purifier, has as its main component this biofilter. During COVID, we pivoted to onboard UVC light disinfection. This light has been proven to Canadian standards to disinfect 99.9% of pathogens, including coronaviruses. This occurs with its first pass through our unit. We've also onboarded probiotics to reconstitute life into the heavily disinfected air. At Origin, we want to raise awareness of a problem with air quality and help to solve it. We are targeting the workplace wellness industry. Our vision is to eventually build a product called the Canopy, which will be a rooftop HVAC integrated air purifier that will not only clean the air, but will also reduce a building's GHG emissions by up to 40%, thus contributing to our Paris Accord climate change reduction goals.
Hi, I'm Ravina, the co-founder and CEO of Flick. My co-founder and I met in Next 36, one of the top programs for young entrepreneurs in Canada. Yet when we walked into the room, we were about only 5 girls and about 40 guys, and we didn't want to accept this as the norm. Together, we set out to find and connect with female founders who could help us through similar barriers, and realized on their paths too, they had troubles finding mentors, resources, and peers to connect with. We soon realized female founders lacked resources to scale their businesses affordably, and apprentices, most often university students, were in need of career-relevant experiences, an opportunity to gain skills and mentorship. Flick is approaching this global opportunity with a tangible solution, our female founder and apprenticeship portal. Founders get helping hands with connecting with diverse, verified talent to accelerate their businesses, and apprentices volunteer part-time in a meaningful project in exchange for career-relevant experience, skills training, and mentorship under an established female founder. We are the perfect team who lives and breathes the mission of accelerating women-led ventures globally. With my experience working in policy alongside the UN and ICC, advocating for women and minority populations, and my co-founder, Michelle, her experience in community building and working marketing with brands such as Headspace and Bubble, and our amazing CTO, who has launched over 12 products for startups and has worked closely with speaking on panels such as LOI Alumni Advisory Council members. Globally, less than 1 in 5 businesses are led by women, and young women are not equipped with the practical skill set and experiences to start them, and the female founders of today are not sufficiently supported to accelerate their companies. Flick is a platform and community hub connecting female founders and leaders with students across the world via meaningful apprenticeships. Founders get helping hands on their businesses from verified, ambitious talent, network with other powerful female leaders through our Founders Hub, and get access to exclusive resources to accelerate their business. Apprentices volunteer in exchange for invaluable experience, skills training, mentorship, and network with fellow apprentices through our Apprentices Hub. Founders include leaders in tech, AI, marketing, such as Kim Kaup, the co-founder of Superfan Company and Forbes 30 Under 30 alumni, or Jupiter, a YC-backed company, and leaders from Google and YouTube. Past apprentices have taken on initiatives in software development, UX UI design, marketing, and other areas from universities such as UBC, Harvard, Cornell, Stanford, Oxford, UC Berkeley, and UBC. Our product is super easy to navigate. Simply sign up, request an apprenticeship, and secure it with exclusive contracts and documents provided by Flick and our legal team. Through a subscription model, female founders pay $60 USD a month to access the platform. After an apprenticeship is completed, a founder can choose to hire an apprentice with a recruiting fee paid to Flick. We also have revenue coming through from sponsorships and partnerships.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Raphaël Meyer, the CEO and co-founder of Lancey Energy Storage. Personally speaking, I have a background in physics with a PhD done at the French Atomic Energy Center, CEA. Here, our wonderful team of 30 men and women, with half of the team composed of engineers or PhD, with different business units to conceive this product, but also to sell it and make the marketing and of course administrations behind. Our company is a young SME based in Grenoble, and we are developing hardware solutions to deploy photovoltaics and electricity with storage and self-consumption for all and everywhere. We won, since the beginning of this adventure, about 20 different prizes, but including very prestigious ones, like the Best of Innovation in CES in 2018, our Prix du Jury of EDF Pulse, and more recently, different prizes focused around the building retrofit and the energy transition. Lancey Energy Storage is a young industrial SME of 30 people developing solutions for self-consumption of electricity at home, and the different offers that we propose are built around this product, which is an exclusive product, different kinds of patents behind, which is an electric radiator with a battery storage, which is just over here. The idea is, with a pretty simple solution to install, it's plug and play, to deploy energy storage where it matters. And our goal with those energy storage that are deployed a bit everywhere within the house is to make a self-consumption of renewable electricity, like from photovoltaics panel, a bit everywhere, and with a very efficient approach. Thus, what we can do is pretty simply, once this system is installed, to manage any kind of renewable production with the battery storage and re-inject the power when it's required for the heating systems, for instance, but also we can re-inject the power within the domestic grid through a microinverter that is present here. And last but not least, we can use second life bike batteries like those of Véligo Location, 10,000 e-bikes deployed in Paris, and we've adapted our system to accept this old battery for a second life. And like this, of course, we can reduce the impact associated with the lithium-ion batteries that we use. And more globally, we want to have an impact by proposing to the massive retrofit of European buildings that have to occur by 2050 to reach carbon neutrality, a very simple, a very cost-effective, and with a low CO2 impact to make an energy transition that is beneficial to all as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Etienne is expert in brain imagery. The editor Springer asked him to be one of the 3 co-authors of a book on this subject. Agustin is expert in quantum sensors. He can improve the performances of anything that can be plugged. I have headed during 10 years a lab in a high technology environment, and I have a PhD on the technology embedded in Mac4Health. Mac4Health technology won the prize of the best early-stage innovation in 2017 at the H2020 Radar Prize, a competition among projects funded by the European Commission. Mac4Health is one of the projects awarded at the French Innovation Concours IRAB in 2020, with a grant of 250 €. 1 out of 6 persons is affected by the neuronal disorders. Migraine, Alzheimer, Parkinson, tumor. All these neuronal disorders are various, but share the same problem, to which only a few epileptic patients resist. Despite all the treatments, no one will cure. This inefficiency is known for years in medicine. The Lancet published in 2019, new knowledge is required to develop effective prevention and treatment strategy. Therefore, we need new tools to develop this knowledge. The only tool to analyze and localize the neuronal activity in real time, and therefore the golden standard, is the magnetoencephalograph. But at a cost of 4 million euros, only 150 devices are used in the world, whereas some thousands are required to improve brain knowledge and apply relevant care. Mag4Health is developing a new generation of magnetoencephalograph, repelling the limitation to the use of current products. Affordable and easier to use, it will contribute to the democratization of magnetoencephalography and the amplification of its use from babies to adults, so as to improve the brain knowledge and care to neuronal disorders. Mag4Health Meg is based on a high-end technology developed at CEA, which filed 25 patents and is currently used in space applications by the European Space Agency. We have developed a prototype of magnetoencephalograph and work with 7 neurological research devices in Europe, with 5 clinical trials. 1.3 million euro of grant is dedicated to the prototype. Our first product will address neurological research in 2024. We plan a clinical version of the magnetoencephalograph in 2026.
Hi, my name is Louis Hammond and I'm the CEO at BFC. My background is a PhD in electronic engineering and I also co-founded 2 startups in the United Kingdom. At BFC, we make electricity with papers and enzymes. We've developed a paper-based biofuel cell that is a sustainable and eco-friendly alternative to miniature batteries in low-power applications. BFC is a team of interdisciplinary scientists and engineers looking to take this technology to the public market. BFC has been recognized by several prizes. The first is Nature Merck One to Watch. We've been recognized as one of the best academic startups in the last 3 years. We've also won MIT's GSW Award in collaboration with GEM. On top of that, La Tribune's 10,000 Startups to Change the World. BFC is a spin-off from CNRS, and we were incubated by Satlinks in Grenoble Alps. The team has decades of experience developing biofuel cells, and this led us to develop the world's first paper-based biofuel cell. The technology uses enzymes to convert glucose and oxygen into electricity, and because the device is paper-based, it's ultra-thin, flexible, and lightweight, which is perfect for the trend towards wearable medical devices as well as connected packaging. We use biosourced materials. The product is actually metal and plastic-free, which means it's sustainable and eco-friendly. The materials are very easy to dispose of or recycle, reducing costs to our customers. BFC was only created in May 2020, and in June 2020 we secured 3 million euros of VC seed funding. On top of this, we were successful in winning iLab and iNOV competitions. We're now using the money to grow the team, bring in more expertise, and we're looking to industrialize the production of our technology towards a roll-to-roll production.
I'm Matt Smalling. Together with my co-founder, Dr. Gilberto De Salvo, we created Delfire. We're an early-stage startup dedicated to revolutionizing the way that we monitor wildfires so that they can be contained more quickly, safely, and effectively. Daniel Ring, who's a software engineer at Microsoft, is our technical consultant. He's helping us with our ongoing prototyping. Tim Tiemann, the director of the Innovation Incubator and I-Core programs at Cal State Northridge, has been acting as our business mentor. Our work on Delfire began near the start of 2019, and in March, we competed in the 2020 CSUN Bull Ring competition, where, as finalists, we received a $500 award. Right now, having self-funded a functional prototype, we're seeking an early investment round, expanding our market research by participating in I-Core at CSUN, and continuing to apply for other competitions, grants, and patents. We have tons of monitoring technology, from drones, satellites, and artificial intelligence to track patterns. And yet, wildfire containment efforts still suffer from incomplete information. That's because conditions can change in the blink of an eye, and much of the most useful data can only be collected from on the ground. That's why our product is a tool that firefighters can deploy in remote locations to give them the critical information they need to safely and effectively stop wildfires. We optimized our prototype to provide them everything they asked us for, continuously and in real time, including weather in the immediate vicinity to help predict where the fire will move next, and automated video/heat monitoring so that they can always know where the fire is and identify spreading events as soon as they happen. The current communication lag for this key data, which is checked on foot, is in the order of 30 minutes, during which time a fire can travel up to 7 miles or 11 kilometers. By using our surveillance system, firefighters can be immediately alerted to spot fires and changes in fire direction, allowing them to either put out the fires while they're still small or evacuate to safer positions. These same devices could also be permanently mounted to power lines in remote areas so that fires caused by these can be caught early instead of having to wait for a maintenance crew or 911 call to report the fire. These two markets combined represent an annual $215 million opportunity in the US alone.
Hi, my name is Hilary Harel, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Serenus AI. On our team are top physicians from various medical fields and machine learning specialists working side by side on the development of our solution. The company is currently active in Israel, UK, and the US, has gained prestigious awards. For example, we won first place in MTL competition in Canada, and also we won finalists in Ernst & Young Digital Health competition, as well as first place in claims technology in Hartford InsurTech Hub. We also gained 4 grants from government entities, including lately a bilateral grant with the US-Israel government, together with our US partner Health Trio. Research shows that a high percentage of medical procedures are unnecessary, risking patients' lives and wasting huge amount of resources that can be redirected to where it's needed. Health systems today are overloaded, and medical professionals have limited resources to make complex decisions. The guidelines are generic and do not assist with the complexity of the decisions. These pain points are expected to grow in the next few years as the population continues to grow. Developed by top clinical experts and machine learning specialists, Serenus AI presents a unique solution with 2 patents pending, providing an innovative AI-based platform to improve medical treatment decisions, saving lives and valuable resources. How it works. At the first stage, the user, a physician, a nurse, a medical student, or the patient choose the considered treatment. Then the system asks for the critical factors in order to make the best decision. These factors can be pulled from the medical record or input by an interactive chatbot that guides the user through the minimal path. Then the system analyzes the patient's anonymous profile with its AI engine, which is based on the latest research, experts' knowledge, and our machine learning algorithms, and outputs a detailed report, whether there is indication for the treatment, the factors for making the decision, and the alternative conservative measures that can be implemented before a risky procedure. For example, try physiotherapy before a risky orthopedic surgery. The system is continuously learning, implementing prospective learning, and revealing new insights even beyond the guidelines known today. The company provides value proposition for all stakeholders by improving patient outcomes, minimizing unnecessary risks, saving valuable resources, and providing powerful AI-driven analytics. The company won prestigious awards and grants, including a bilateral US-Israel grant together with its US partner. We're currently active in Israel, US, and UK with leading stakeholders in the healthcare field, and we look forward to new collaborations, and we thank you very much for your time.
Hi, I'm Kim, this is Chris, this is James. We met each other in 2016.
James, Kim, and Chris met at a stats class at Rice University. A shared interest in socioeconomic problems and technology led to their first discussions, but a shared passion for challenging the status quo made them a team. In 2017, they formally established Topple and haven't looked back since. 3 years later, the Topple team has grown from 3 to 14. We are a dynamic, multicultural, and interdisciplinary team with a range of experiences and perspectives. Our diversity fosters creative problem solving and ensures the best application of Topple's solution across borders, boundaries, and markets. Since our foundation, Topple's grown through many milestones, opportunities, and successes. Some highlights are the 2017 Brightlands Techruption, second place at the 2018 South by Southwest Pitch Competition, the 2018 Capital Factory Accelerator Cohort, the Impact 2030 Summit at the UN headquarters in 2018, first place at the 2018 Open Houston Pitch Competition, 2019 participant of the Mass Challenge Accelerator Cohort, and the 2019 honoree of Houston Business Journal's Fast 100 Innovation Award. How can you be sure that no one was harmed for the diamond in your ring? Or that no child labored for the coffee in your cup? What if you could verify these claims for yourself? With Topple, anyone can. Our infrastructure enables a remarkable degree of supply chain visibility, greater control, and accountability. From source to sale, our blockchain technology can track every instance along your supply chain, allowing you to prove your claims while providing consumers information about where and how their products are made. Topple's impact-specific technology can also enable producers, like coffee farmers, to use their production histories as alternative sources of credit, unlocking forms of financial inclusion that previously were impossible. The future of your supply chain is digital, sustainable, and transparent. Join us in building a world of new possibilities. You change the world. We prove it.
How has your local ecosystem contributed to your success?
We've had a lot of help from our local ecosystem. Foremost is CSUN. Tim Tiemann, our mentor, directs their Innovation Incubator and I-Corps programs, both of which we are participating in. The Bull Ring competition helped us take off, and their Ask a Matador service connects us with relevant alums. They publicized Delphi with news articles and even wrote a letter of support for a grant that we submitted to the USDA. Lava's First Look showcase gave us significant publicity and put us in touch with investors and other useful services. Pismo Ventures held an extensive series of coaching and networking sessions, while Larta helped us practice for pitches and introduced us to relevant grants. And even SoCal Bio has introduced me to numerous key players in the SoCal startup ecosystem.
BFC has been fortunate enough to be supported by a fantastically rich ecosystem. As well as being incubated by Sapiens in Grenoble Alps, we are supported by Minologic, Invest in Grenoble Alps, and we've also attended exhibitions such as Venture and Forum Sanko.
We have different kind of players with us developing that kind of approach to decentralize the production of renewable electricity. I'd like to thank ST Microelectronics. They've hosted us for free during the very critical development of the electronics. NG, EDF, we've developed our first proof of concept. Groupe La Poste, we are creating a whole value chain for the second life of batteries. And we received the help of GEM at different steps to establish our business model.
Mark for Health started 10 years ago thanks to a meeting with engineers and doctors. Our ecosystem is rich and prone to such meetings. Startups are common in our ecosystem, therefore we know there is room to create some. There is a whole process to accompany people having a project, from the idea to the creation of the startup. The high density of startups contributes to the diffusion of information, knowledge, experience. We had discussions with many of the startups of our ecosystem to prepare the creation of the company, and we will have some more in the months to come.
Within our local ecosystem, Foresight BC, Alacrity Canada, W Venture, Women in Tech World, and local universities have accelerated our technical, commercial, and strategic success. With access to entrepreneurs in residence and financial advice. I'm very grateful for the support from empowered startups and the entire European ecosystem that has brought us here today.
It contributed significantly to Serenus by allowing us to reach partners, potential partners and investors much more faster than if we would have done it by our own, and also allowed us to explore new channels that we have not been thinking about should our ecosystem would not suggest this for us. So I would say that there is a meaningful contribution to the growth of the company utilizing our contacts within the healthcare ecosystem.
Our model is made to adapt to local ecosystems. We produce content for each market, and the preferences of the users will be different. In Taiwan, we started with local coaches, local styles of content, local sports, local investors, and local partners.
One of our core values is to spread the knowledge of the IP protection. Taiwan Tech Arena and many other incubators has given us the chance to do so. For example, we joined the FIDE competition of the Taiwan Tech Arena in 2019 and built a connection with 2 science parks and with their startup. And this year we are invited to do this competition again. But as a mentor at this time, through this opportunity, we also get better understanding of how we should help startups.
Topple is proud to be part of Houston's growing startup ecosystem. While it's an unconventional place for a tech venture, our roots at Rice have helped branch us into more opportunities. To start, we first grew our team out of Rice and even used Lily Lab as a first summer office space. In September of 2020, we hopped to another opportunity at Co-working Space headquarters. Our funding is also Houston-centric. Most of our early angels are Houstonians, and the lead investor for our venture seed round, Mercury Fund, is local too. It may not be a tech hub yet, but Houston is first and foremost a city of diversity in population and connection.
Flick is the first female-focused apprenticeship portal focused on female talent, and we are already building an engaged and diverse community. With our growing brand recognition, we have secured numerous partnerships with prominent founder and student organizations, including 500 Startups, Techstars, Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce, and more. Just by promoting organically across our social channels in the first 6 months, we've had over 5,000 women from over 47 different countries sign up for our beta. We plan to continue expanding to untapped high-potential markets such as India, Asia-Pacific regions, and rural and remote communities.
What are your expectations from your ecosystem today?
CSUN's Innovation Incubator will provide us the workspace, student help, mentors, competition eligibility, and access to other useful services like AWS and more. The I-Core program is helping to guide us and build up our credibility through additional market research. Lava is having a Meet the VC event next week that we're attending, and we're in talks with people we met at the First Look Showcase to help us begin raising funds. We were also introduced to a local fund for companies run by Caltech alums, which both my co-founder and I are.
So BFC are now looking to use the ecosystem to find new opportunities. One good example of this is that we will move into Biopolis. At Biopolis, we will partner with 2 other startups to develop a glucose sensing patch.
Clearly, for the coming steps, we're going to have to rely onto this ecosystem to deploy worldwide our solution and go to the break-even.
We are becoming a company. Our core strengths are changing. We now focus on market analysis and fundraising. We are at the moment exploring new actors of our ecosystem related to these fields.
We are currently looking to partner with experts in manufacturing, packaging, and distribution to advise us about how to optimize our supply chain. We are also working on finding a team of scientists to test the efficacy of our prototype and do third-party verification. We can't wait to meet suppliers and distributors next year in Grenoble, France.
First of all, that we would like to expand to additional territories. So we would like to utilize our ecosystem, the healthcare ecosystem, in additional territories and channels. And we will also like to give back. So for new entrepreneurs that are coming into the healthcare field, we will be very happy to assist within our network and ecosystem.
The home fitness sector is booming and many solutions are available right now. But we don't see a lot of low entry barrier solutions with quality content. Also, the healthcare and wellness and sport are now very much linked together, and we are getting ready for this as well.
At this stage, gathering feedback from the user is the most important task for AI blocks. Few over that, we would like to collaborate more with the incubator and the accelerator. We can either provide our IP management platform or share our knowledge and experience in this society. I believe we will create a win-win situation for all those organizations, their startup, and so on.
By being in Houston, Tapple gets access to corporate introductions and can connect nationally and internationally, just like this video.
With your support, Flick can become a powerful community of culture shifters and inspire phenomenal women along the way. We have a vision of becoming the comprehensive resource for female founders globally, accelerating their economic opportunity, and would love to have your support along the way.
And how do you see your product's short to long-term future in the post-COVID context?
At this stage, we're field testing our prototype, and within a year or so, we think we can begin making sales to local fire departments. We've been self-funding, but plan to start raising outside funds in the very near future so that we can ruggedize our device and get the certifications needed to begin sales. We'll start locally, then target influential departments to build up credibility, and finally expand into other markets, including power line monitoring and home fire security. We don't expect COVID to have much effect on us, other than postponing our product's trade show debut.
Post-COVID, we've seen a huge trend towards point-of-care and disposable testing. And BSC believe we offer a sustainable and eco-friendly power solution for these types of products. But on a long-term trend, we've seen the rise of online shopping. More and more people are buying online and having parcels delivered to their home. The BSC are working already with packaging companies to develop sustainable and eco-friendly electronic tracking platforms for these types of services.
During the COVID crisis, we've learned that some subjects matters more than others. And the good thing is that clearly the energy transition is no doubtful anymore for anyone. It has to be done right now. And the massive retrofit operations that are coming will be a very good opportunity for us.
The context of COVID reminds us the importance of health and local production. Both central features of map for health, which should continue to have an important place.
The UVC light in our Sentinel sterilizes pathogens, including the coronavirus. The pandemic has raised concerns about ventilation and indoor air quality and made the invisible visible. We believe that now, more than ever, people are thinking about the quality of their air. In the long term, we will continue to remove pathogens and pollutants from the air while also lowering GHG emissions with our HVAC integrated canopy.
Our technology has various new applications due to new challenges that arose post-COVID. For example, there are a backlog of elective procedures and long waiting lists. In some countries, there is 2 years waiting list for some of the procedures. So our technology is now going to be implemented in order to prioritize these waiting lists so that a patient that needs the procedure fast will receive it as fast as possible, and a patient that can be referred to conservative measures will be referred to conservative measures. So the post-COVID world definitely opened for us new applications for our technology, as well as new incentives to implement technologies within the healthcare world, as there is understanding that health systems today are overloaded, and stakeholders are looking for technologies in order to improve efficiencies and patient outcomes.
After the crisis of COVID, we believe that the trend of home fitness will not disappear. Sports sector is growing everywhere. Many big companies are starting fitness solutions, and we want to keep moving and use our 2 years mature technology as a base and develop other additional solutions for 5G, VR, and AR.
Expect to see more startup and layer innovation in the near future. Airplugs would first want to help all the startup directly to build their global IP protection. Meanwhile, we could help them to do the best, because after COVID-19, many of the lawyers have to stay home. They play a very key player part in the legal field. We think we can build more stronger connection between we and local attorney.
With more shortened turnaround time, we believe we can make the IP protection approachable for all design and creators.
Across the globe, COVID-19 has changed everything. For Topple, COVID revealed and highlighted issues like supply chain traceability, security, and digitization. While COVID will fade with time, Topple is committed to being a long-term agent for change, helping to push the need for visibility and accountability within companies and their supply chains.
In the short term, we have been matching medtech businesses mitigating coronavirus with female STEM students, bridging the need for intellectual capital and work experience during this period. We've also been able to leverage technology to inspire social entrepreneurship, leading Flick to create change in 3 specific areas: creating skills development for lifelong opportunities for young women to prepare them for the future workforce, 2, to accelerate entrepreneurial skills and develop a new generation of job creators, and 3, to improve access to education and skills opportunities for women who may be left behind by a rapidly changing global economy. Post-COVID-19, education has taken a turn, along with the way in which businesses engage with contractors, employees, or interns. The ubiquity of an online platform such as Flick has allowed women to take on virtual apprenticeships and continue to learn. Flick's future integrations of AI and ML to create more customized and personal opportunities for diverse women who hail from over 47 different countries will become more enhanced, allowing women to take on more remote work and opportunity. Moreover, by integrating AR and VR into our new and adapting work environments in the future, Flick will have the capacity to foster and bridge new ways of building community.
And now, give us a word to express your feelings today.
Well, I would be confident, because we just finished our latest prototype and will be field testing it next week.
Change. We believe there's a huge change coming towards environmental sustainability. And we hope together we can power the future of nature.
The word I'd like to express is proudness, as I'm proud of our team to have passed this very strange period and proud of this ecosystem that we're gonna have, that we're gonna profit from to go to the maturity of the company and make this energy transition beneficial to all.
Today, our world is constrained by a double problem being both sanitary and ecological. As an entrepreneur, I am happy to have an impact on the world we will give to our children.
Today I am feeling limitless, or in French, illimité. We are so excited to test and deliver our Sentinel and make global connections. We believe there is an urgent international need for our product, and we are eager to share it with the world. Thank you to Empowered Startups, Tarmac Incubator, Invest in Grenoble Alps, and French Tech in the Alps for having me here today.
On the one hand, we are feeling very excited to explore these new opportunities in the post-COVID world. On the other hand, we have the challenges to work virtually and to reach people without meeting face-to-face. But we are optimistic and looking forward to continue and expand our company to new territories and to new channels for its growth. Thank you.
And I'm personally super excited to start Unigym story in Europe. We are thrilled to be visible now to other type of actors, potential users and potential partners and investors. We feel very, very optimistic.
Choose a word to describe today AI Blocks, it will be dynamic. AI Blocks now is growing fast and trying out to all the possibility, pivoting, and meanwhile we constantly make choice and what to keep to do and what to let it go. It means we're growing fast and we have to make the right decision to give up something for AI Blocks on the process in the dynamic situation for a long time, but everything we are under control. We think we can find our path.
How does Topple feel in a word? Enthused.
I am feeling excited and energized to mobilize the people around me for global change.
I hope you enjoyed the video, and now the HLF Steering Committee is going to deliberate to award the prizes. The results will be unveiled tonight at 5:30 p.m. CET. Meanwhile, I propose to engage further discussion with our panel. We have 4 representatives of startups with us, and I would like to welcome them. And so, hello everybody. We have Mathieu Le Prado.
Hello.
Bonjour Mathieu.
Hello.
We have Hilary Harel from Serenas AI in Tel Aviv, Israel. Hello, Hilary. We have Suzanne. This is Hilary. Shalom, Hilary. Manishma. We have Suzanne Blanchette from British Columbia in Canada. Hello, Suzanne. And we have Matthew from California, CEO of Delphire. Hello, Matthew. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Matthew.
Hello. Hi.
So it's great to have you, the 4 of you, with us. I invite everybody to comment our discussion on the chat and also to ask some questions on the chat, and we will answer them at the end of the panel. And now I invite our 3 speakers on the stage to present themselves, tell us who you are, what you do, and in which institution.
Well, good morning. My name is Agnès Braize. I am Director of Development of Future Program in GEM Labs, the lab innovation by experimentation at GEM. At GEM Labs, we co-develop immersive and experiential learning solutions, and we do it on digital platforms. So we do it with our partners, for our partners, and our students, our teachers, our researchers. So we have business life, like, for example, a connected shop, a connected apartment, a food store, a connected street. Or we have a team lab, technology innovation management lab, dedicated to project teams and to design thinking. Or again, a playground platform dedicated to serious games and gamification. Our ambition is to recognize the contribution and the impact of management on the success of more sustainable innovation.
Thank you. Véronique?
So my name is Véronique Péquignat, and I work for the Invest in Grenoble Alpes organization, which is an organization in charge of promoting our ecosystem and internationally, and welcoming international companies, investors, entrepreneurs in our region, and support them throughout their installation. We could be described, I would say, as the Swiss knife of foreign direct investment into the greater Grenoble region. And we have devised, as you might have seen in the movie with the startups, a special track, which is called FASE, for French Alps International Exchange Program. Exchange.
Thank you. And Jean-Michel.
Thank you, and welcome to everybody. So my name is Jean-Michel Goiran. I'm in charge of, I'm deputy manager of technology transfer in CEA. So CEA is a research center, 20,000 people, the second largest in France and among the 100 top innovators worldwide. We focus on defense, security, low carbon energy, digital transformation, microelectronics, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and health applications. So one of our missions is the technology transfer to the industry through contract research or through startup creation, and we are very proud to have our 220th startup spinned off this year, accumulating more than 5,000 jobs, and all in, most of them actually in the deep tech sector.
Thank you. Does one of you want to make any comment on the video we've seen?
Well, I found this contribution really positive and dynamic. It's really nice to see the motivation and that the dynamic is still going on. And nice also to see that the health crisis has not compromised those promising projects.
Thank you. So I think that the video showed the important contribution of ecosystems to startup. And what about the contribution of startups to ecosystem? I would like to ask the question to one of the representatives of startup, maybe Mathieu.
Hello. I think startups are very agile, and they can bring to the ecosystem the possibility to test new business that associates high potential to high risk, because that's a very particular way to develop a business. And startups also create jobs and inspire people to create some new startups.
Thank you. I would like to ask the question to Matt also. Matt, what the contribution of the startups to the ecosystem?
Hi. Yeah. So, especially at the early stage, one of the best ways for them to contribute back to the ecosystem is to actively participate in that ecosystem. I know for us, it's been a lot of working alongside other startups, other groups, sharing connections between the two, focusing on giving in any case that we can, participate a little more actively. ITA, an entrepreneurship course over at UCLA, and I also help on the side with a local business group called SoCal Bio, and of course it's been very beneficial for our group as well. And then with CSUN, we can even get help from students, and they get to participate in business activities, and it can then be really mutually beneficial even at the early stage.
Thank you. Jean-Michel, what do you think about the role of the startups in their ecosystems?
Well, of course, they have a key role, and beyond the ecosystem, they have a key role in the industry value chain. So the ecosystem is larger than this, and it includes also the industrials in the region that have to benefit from what the startups are bringing, which are disruptive products or components or services that these industrial need to innovate and to stay competitive in their market, and that they don't always are able to integrate when they contract with research centers, for example, because for example, an energy company might not invest in microelectronic components. So it's really a three-part game between research centers, industrials, and startup, and it's win-win between them.
Thank you. Véronique, would like to add a comment?
Just a very short comment, and then I will be rebounding on the one word that was said earlier, jobs. In Grenoble, we have computed through a local observatory that our team has devised that startups that have been created since 2000 represent today, as of today, represent 5,000 jobs in the greater Grenoble region. Well, 5,000 jobs, that's as much as the top 2 employers in our region, the top 2 private employers in the region, Schneider Electric and ST Microelectronics. So that means a real force to be reckoned with in the region.
Okay, now I would like to talk about the impact of the crisis on the startups. Do you consider that the startups are more agile or more fragile than the larger companies? Suzanne, would you like to answer the question?
Hello, I'm Susan of Ordinaire. I'm from Canada, and I definitely believe that we're more agile than the larger corporations, particularly because working from home or other remote doesn't involve a lot of major changes. We've actually grown through the pandemic by from 3 of us to there's now 10 of us, and there's a lot of people available that normally wouldn't be from all over the world that have expertise like here. So thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to add the question also to Matt. Is Matt, do you want to answer the question? What is the impact of the crisis on the startups?
Yeah. So I would say that startups are both more agile and more fragile than larger companies with this particular crisis. See, the startups can pivot to other topics a lot easier than a larger company because they have less established infrastructure overhead. And with a small number of employees, they're a lot less specialized. I know of a couple companies that have pivoted. One was working on a gene editing device or a gene editing product. They switched to a COVID vaccine. And another was making privacy products for offices and trade shows. But people aren't in offices or trade shows right now. So they switched to a privacy device for hospitals. But on the other hand, since startups have less cash on hand, if they have to keep paying people and they can't be working, or they have a really bad hiccup in production, the startup's a lot more likely to go under, whereas a big company can ride it out a little bit longer.
Okay, thank you. Jean-Michel, would you like to make a comment?
Just to echo what has been said between agility and fragility, they need funds that makes them a bit fragile, and of course they are agile because it's their very reason to exist, to disrupt the markets and to invest in new fields. And without legacy, heavy investment, heavy former investments, they are, more able to pivot, to switch businesses and to switch markets.
Thank you. And how do you see the reaction of the investors? Véronique?
Well, surprisingly enough, one would think, that just the crisis would mean, stopping investment. But we've been surprised here locally that despite of this crisis, or because of it, I don't know, we have quite a number of startups which were able to raise really impressive amounts of funds even during this crisis. So just to give you a few examples here, we have a lot of deep tech crisis startups in Grenoble. We've had, for example, Alidia in the LED business raising 80 million euros to build its first production plant in the region. We've had a startup in hydrogen, which is called McFi Energy, which was able to raise 180 million euros, which is a lot for France, I have to say. We also have some other companies in the memory sector, such as Antaios, for example, or the electronic nose company, which is called Aribal Technologies, which also raised money during the pandemic and the first lockdown. So I would say that the conclusion is that the existing startups were actually able to raise money without any glitch during the past year.
Jean-Michel, do you share this analysis?
Yeah, absolutely, and we are very proud of these successes. The startups that Véronique mentioned are spinned off from our labs mostly. So we definitely in 2020, paradoxally, we are already in November 20% above last year fundraising. So this is a very good achievement, and it encourages us to increase again this effort on startup creation, and we launched this year in June our startup program.
Okay, and I would like you to continue on the question of the opportunities for the startups in the time of the crisis.
Okay.
Et on reprend.
À partir d'où? C'est-à-dire?
Okay, so let's continue on the reactions of the investors in the crisis, Jean-Michel.
Yeah, so indeed, paradoxally, 2020 has been a very good year. Véronique mentioned a few names that were spinned off from our labs, and we are collectively very proud of these fundraising. In November, we are 20% above the funds that were raised last year, so that's really great, and it encourages us to move further with this new program. Startup program that we launched in June this year to encourage even more creations.
And Jean-Michel, I would like you to continue also on the new opportunities. Do you see new opportunities for the startups in the context of the COVID crisis?
Yeah, there's one thing the COVID crisis showed is actually the urgent need for transformation in the way we work, in the way we transport, and it definitely creating new opportunities. And startups here are at the forefront of these transformations, and they can carry more agilely these new products in this regard.
Okay, and maybe it will be interesting to hear the startups. Maybe Hilary, how do you see your new opportunities in the context of the COVID crisis? Hilary, or maybe Suzanne also, it would be interesting to listen to you. You're not online, so maybe we'll come back to you in a few seconds. There is also another question I would like to discuss with you about the impact of the crisis. Do you think that the startups are going to continue to be attractive, or will entrepreneurs prefer joining larger companies?
Sorry. Entrepreneurship is still definitely a profound aspiration from some researchers, engineers that are coming from our labs. It's an opportunity for them, an extraordinary opportunity to carry their research, to carry their invention to the market, and it's a great adventure. So actually, there's still a lot of will, of momentum on entrepreneurship, and we only need to encourage and to secure their journey, especially by providing them training, or to providing them incubation, maturation help, financing, and also security in allowing them, for example, to come back to the labs after 2 or 4 years. So it's an important thing for them to help them press the button.
Okay, thank you. Now, since we talk about the labor market, it would be interesting to talk about the skills. What are the skills the startup need? Maybe Agnès, you want to say a few words as you represent the institutions of higher education?
I would say that an essential skill is to know how to stay in touch with business issues of companies, and to know how to succeed in making a complete discovery of the strategic and operational needs and problems and business opportunities of big companies, which is quite a difficult thing to do in a very changing world. There is also a need of acceleration in all that concerns execution skills, the ability to decide, to do things, and to adjust. Today, these execution skills require to be able to adjust, and there is also a need to anchor these execution capacities in the ecosystem, which needs to be anticipated. And of course, being able to connect with networks within the ecosystem very early, to be as close as possible of the issues, and to connect also with large companies of this ecosystem. The ability to interface, thanks to a very strong entrepreneurial mindset, it's a winning skill.
Thank you. Jean-Michel, would like also to
quickly. I mean, we are a research center, so obviously our main contribution will be researchers. I mean, top-level researchers with protected and disruptive technologies that can hit the market. But definitely, this goes with the ecosystem, and the startup is in desperate need of additional skills, marketing, business development, industrialization, and above all, fundraising.
Okay. Do we have the startups with us to continue the discussion? Maybe Mathieu, if you are online, or maybe we can continue on the discussion of the skills, and how can we accompany the startups to their links with their territory on one side, and the international perspective on the other side. Agnès or Véronique. Maybe we'll start with Véronique. This is the heart of your activity. The links between the territory and the worldwide perspective.
Yes, indeed. It is not an an easy answer to give as well, because basically we've seen that the ecosystem is very active in supporting the startups, especially when they start. They support them, they help get them connected, they support them financially through a lot of programs. And then, of course, if everything goes right, come the Series A, B, or C, or whatever. And that means that the companies, the startups, are getting international investors. They are also starting to industrialize, to start about building plants and industrial sites. And then comes the question how to make sure that the headquarters of the company stay there. If, for example, you have new international investors and you have a new board, for example, which often happens, and that the job creation and the added value stays somehow in the territory that has seen the birth of this startup. So there's no easy answer, as I said. The idea is really to keep in touch at all times, to keep track of what the startup is doing, to check regularly what they are doing, what kind of support they need, at which stage they are, and then to also be very happy if they come to develop in another country and develop international markets. And then accompany them, support them when they have to go international because it's vital for them. And you cannot, it's like raising a kid. You cannot keep them all the time with you in your house, but you can make sure that they come home very often and then they remember their family and their parents.
Thank you. I would like to have the question to Jean-Michel and to Suzanne after. So what are the links between roots and worldwide perspective?
Yeah, it's really a challenge because, as Véronique mentioned, all we want is for them is to develop, to gain new businesses, to gain new investment opportunities, partnerships, and we want them to keep roots in the territory, to keep the jobs ideally, and what we need is to keep competitive for them. We need to help them continue to innovate, to use our technological platforms so that they can prototype and develop their new next generations. So it's a matter of efficient support more than fidelity.
Thank you. Suzanne, how do you combine your Canadian in British Columbia roots and your worldwide perspective?
Well, we would never want to forget where we've come from. We've had a lot of support from the ecosystem in BC, from empowered startups to a number of other amazing accelerators. However, our technology is needed wherever the air is the worst in the world. So we see us spreading to different international markets quite quickly. We will always keep a core workforce at home in manufacturing. We're applying to be a B Corp. Sustainability is really important, but in Asia, they were wearing masks pre-COVID. So that's where our technology is needed the most, or other countries where the air pollution is poor outdoors as well as in.
Thank you. And another question, what can a local ecosystem bring to foreign entrepreneur, and vice versa? Agnès, do you want to answer the question? What can a local ecosystem bring to a foreign entrepreneur, and what a foreign entrepreneur can bring to an ecosystem? Agnès or Véronique?
I think this is Véronique.
Let's go with Véronique.
Okay, so that might be my call. Basically, as one can see through the testimonials of all these startups, creating a startup is very exciting, but is very difficult, even if you're in your own country. And creating a site in a different country is even more difficult. So a local ecosystem has to be able to create special track, I would say, for international investors, and take into account not only the business aspects, the sciences aspect, the partnerships or whatever it is, but also the personal aspects. Oftentimes when an international entrepreneur comes over to a new country, it's also a personal choice. And so it might be a life-changing choice as well. So that's very important to really, really take into account all these matters. And as was said, it's a win-win situation because international profiles, international entrepreneurs bring a lot to a local ecosystem. They bring diversity, they bring different mindsets, they bring different networks, networks of investors, for example. And we have here in Grenoble have many examples. You've seen the movie created with the FAZE and with entrepreneurs from T-Hive coming from Lebanon, South America, or coming from North America also with PD Ecolab. And the other example I just also give often is Aledia, which is really one of our success stories, and with the co-founder, Giorgio Anania, who is really typical of such international profile and background. And we have many, many others. So basically, it's really a question of not being closed off and always welcome new talents and other mindsets, I would say.
Thank you. So I think that one question is how can we develop cooperations between ecosystems? I'm going to give you the floor. Before, I just want to say all our audience that they can comment what we say on the chat, and you can ask all the questions you want, and we will answer them in a few minutes. So, Véronique, I come back to you. Would like to to give us an example of a cooperation between ecosystems.
The obvious example for me is the FAZE program, which has been mentioned already. We really want to have a bottom-up approach. And it's very important to really stem from the needs of the local and international entrepreneurs. And so we've just built up, as I said, a special track for international entrepreneurs from and to the French Alps, and also into so-called, I would say, secondary, and it's not a judgmental question, secondary ecosystem, because basically when international entrepreneurs think about France, they think about Paris, maybe the Riviera, and that's about it. And on the other hand, when our entrepreneurs from the French Alps think about setting up in other countries, they think, okay, Silicon Valley, Boston, Shanghai, London, and are there other places? Well, so that the idea came from this, and we've just wanted to really connect with other ecosystems that have a lot of common topics with us, and where our international entrepreneurs would be welcome, would really feel a real support, and not really rely on just random encounters around the street to meet international investors, for example.
Thank you. Agnès, do you also have an example of a cooperation between the Grenoble ecosystem and another one?
Yes, last year in October, we had the pleasure to be selected to host and co-organize the MIT Global Startup Workshop. And we did it with 20 partners of the ecosystem, some of which are in this place today. I want to thank them. The MIT Global Startup Workshop is a 2-day event dedicated to 400 student entrepreneurs, investors, academics, a lot of people. Startup competitions, conferences, 40 workshops. And this year, for this edition, the first in France, they decided that we could work together, and they were really interested in working with us around 3 thematics: transformative entrepreneurship, disruptive technology, and long-lasting impact. So we decided to design a special startup competition, sustainable society startup competition, for this event. So in the end, we have to say, of course, MIT JSW brings expertise and legitimacy, but in the end, it's still at the beginning of the story. It's quite difficult to know exactly what kind of decision and what kind of future KPIs will count, and as soon as it comes to sustainable transformations and decisions for entrepreneurs.
Thank you. You say that sustainability and impact were at the heart of this project with MIT. Do you think that sustainability impacts are going to be a fundamental trend in the ecosystems, and and the startups, and what's the situation in your business school?
Well, of course, I do. It's already a reality. We can check every day that young people as students are very motivated and concerned about impact topics. Could it be climate change or sustainability-driven innovation or transformative problematics? So, of course, it's already a reality. And I would say that this is probably an expectation also for the startups from the ecosystem to be supported in this direction. And just that it is maybe an expectation for the ecosystem to have that kind of startups to put forward and to have visibility on that kind of startups to be able to go further.
Okay, thank you. And Jean-Michel, from the CEA point of view, how do you see the importance of impact and sustainability?
Yeah, it's a profound aspiration also of our entrepreneurs. Definitely, while we launched our startup programs, we had last month several dozens of pitches of will-be entrepreneurs, and all of them integrated these sustainability objectives, and all of them wanted to make a better world in the end. So it's really yes, the profound aspiration, a profound need of the entrepreneurs to integrate these objectives.
Thank you. Now I would like to come back to the CEOs and founders of startups about this new context of crisis. And Hilary, how do you see new opportunities in this time of crisis?
Hi, it's great to be here. I'm the CEO of Serenus AI, and we are in the digital health space. We see that there is a real revolution happening in front of our eyes in the healthcare field. It happened before COVID, and the COVID expedited this revolution where healthcare delivery is changing. We see now more virtual care, people getting their medical care from home. And we see that there is more and more understanding that there is need of technologies to to assist medical professionals and to provide better medical care, to advance the quality of care and the quality of care. So, for example, for us, the post-COVID world opened new opportunities. I mentioned that there are waiting lists for people who are waiting for elective procedures. In some countries, it could take 2 years to get an appointment for a procedure. So our technology is being used in order to prioritize these procedures so the right patient will receive the right treatment at minimum time. So this is a new example how there is a faster adaptation of new technologies in these circumstances of the post-COVID world.
Thank you. And I would be interested in knowing more about your international development and how you work with local ecosystems in the world. I think that you already developed in UK, in the US. So how did you organize this development and how did you manage to make the connections?
So especially in healthcare, it is super important to have a local ecosystem because in each country, there is a different type of health system. Some countries have national health systems where there's a centralized system providing the healthcare delivery. In some countries, such as in the UK with the NHS, in some countries, there is more private healthcare delivery, such as in the United States, where the healthcare delivery is being managed by private health plans. So when we're talking about a startup in the healthcare space, it is super important to know the local ecosystem in order to understand what clinical workflows will fit the technology, what are the different incentives within the healthcare field, and who are the decision makers, because always for startups, it is very important to approach the decision-making person. And it's different. In each country, it's different. So we develop in each country a local ecosystem utilizing local professionals and key opinion leaders that have the knowledge and expertise in the specific clinical workflow that we are looking to implement our technology.
Thank you. Matt, you are with us. I would like also to hear more from you about your international perspective. How do you see your international development? How do you see the connections between your local ecosystem and other ecosystems in the world? What are your perspectives?
Sure. So since we're working in the area of firefighting equipment, it's not quite as heavy as healthcare regulations, but there are regulations specific to each governmental body that we'll have to deal with. So our first target is, of course, here in California, because that's where we're from. But from there, we want to then expand into other markets that have issues with wildfires. But to do that, we're going to need to tap into ecosystems in each of those countries that can help us get in contact with companies and partners that are more familiar with the legal and the marketing environment that's required for fire departments in those governmental bodies.
Thank you. I come back to Suzanne, and I would like to go deeper in the question of the importance of sustainability and impact. So, of course, your startup is directly concerned. So, how do you see your role and how do you spread also this culture of impact and sustainability inside your ecosystem, Suzanne?
Well, we've pushed the world too far. We're close to the edge, and sustainability and impact has to be fundamental in the future. I was a legal counsel in Canada for 15 years, and there's just no way to impact through the justice system. We have to do it through innovation. So I left a 15-year career as a lawyer to start my startup, Origin Air. We purify air. But our big goal is to integrate to buildings where we can reduce the GHG emissions by up to 40%. So right now our buildings, for instance, just as one area of where we're wasting energy, it's like a leaky faucet. We're pulling in air, heating it, cooling it, and then spitting it right back out. So that's one way that I could see myself making an impact that was meaningful. And it's important for local ecosystems, but these have to move internationally. Like we're in an urgent situation. Our world is basically on fire, and we have until 2030 to reduce our emissions by up to 30%. So it is fundamental, and that is why startups such as everyone here today are so important, because we're the feet on the ground, taking a chance to bring in innovations that can make a difference.
So we see that you all play an important contribution to your ecosystem at large. Maybe Hilary, I would like also to listen to you. How do you see your contribution to your innovation ecosystem in Israel?
So there are a lot of new startups today that are coming into the healthcare field. So we are getting a lot of mails from just young entrepreneurs who are looking to get into the field. So we help both with their focus, because for a startup to be focused with their time and sensitive with time is super important. So just directing them how to focus in order to validate their technology and bring the startup into the next stage. And we also help with connections, either with connections within ecosystems in other countries or local connections. And I think the ecosystem in Israel is very significant. We have a very active ecosystem. We actually have a group of a few hundred startups in WhatsApp, and we just constantly speak there every day sharing about events, sharing about opportunities. And it's a win-win. I mean, some, you could think, it's your competition, but no, actually each startup contributes to the other one. So this is a very, very active ecosystem here, helping out each other, and it helped us, and we hope we helped others.
Thank you. So I think we realize the impact of all your startups on the ecosystem. Maybe I would like to ask the question more globally. How do you see the relations between the startups and the society, between the ecosystem and the society? Maybe I would like to ask the question to Jean-Michel. At the CA, it's a research organization, R&D organization. You work with startups, with multinationals, but how do you see your links with the people of Grenoble, with the young generation? Do you think you have a mission in this perspective?
Definitely, and Giant is actually here to connect also with the schools, the universities, etc. So it creates really strong links that are locals. But the link with society for CA, beyond the creation of startups, which is already gives an image that is very precious for us, is also through the digital energy and health transitions that we see. It was mentioned that we see arriving and that we desperately need to address.
Thank you. I would like also to ask the question to our three startups. How do you imagine your links with the society? Do you consider that the tech sector is on the side of the society, or is it in the heart of the society? Suzanne, would you like to comment?
Well, in Canada, especially during the pandemic, our ecosystem has taken a very big lead, and they also have the voice of our entire sector that is delivered to our government. And through the pandemic, it's been the ecosystem that has supported all of our startups. Like, half of my staff right now are on grants that have been funded through the government because of our ecosystem going to bat for us, speaking to the government, telling them what we need. They're very, very good at that, and that infiltrates to society. Not only are we supporting university students by giving them jobs, but it's a whole circular economy, even through the ecosystem to the startups and society.
Okay, thank you. Maybe a last question to Hilary. What's the situation in Israel for you? You work in the health sector. So what is your relations with the hospitals, with the doctors, and all the people in the health environment?
So in Israel, digital health is one of the top priorities for the government. They see it as a growth engine for the country. So there is a lot of initiatives, collaboratives between hospitals and startups and HMOs, because the healthcare delivery is managed here mainly by 3 HMOs. So these collaboratives include pilots, which are funded by the government. They include initiatives such as looking at the whole systems as one source of data, which is the basis for research, both for universities and startups. So data will be available for digital health startups. And there is also initiatives where startups can implement their technology within government institutions and be also granted for these pilots. So there is a lot of collaboration between government institutions, healthcare delivery institutions, and startups, as the government sees it as a top priority to advance digital health startups in Israel. There are a few hundred, I think 600 digital health startups in Israel. And these days it just keeps on growing because there is understanding that this is a future. I can give one example of a collaborative is implementing robots in healthcare delivery, this is just an example of one initiative.
Thank you very much. I think it's time to conclude this panel. I would like to thank all the representatives of startups. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much to Daraba. Thank you to all our speakers on the stage. And I would like also to thank a lot Karen, who had the great idea of this unique startup show and contest. Thank you very much, Karen.
You're very, very welcome. It's my turn to thank you, really. You know, this morning I said, how better to invite a tremendous group of outstanding startups to open the future for our society, to discuss this. Well, there was one idea, what made this maybe better. It was to have you, Sebastien Linden, you, Véronique Péquignat, you, Agnès Braize, and you, Jean-Michel Goiran, at the round table. All of you are experts. All of you, every day, you do your best to stimulate innovation, to help startups. And today, with you and the startups who kindly accepted to connect live, we had a very deep discussion. And thank you very much. I learned a lot. Thanks to your questions, thanks to your responses, thanks to the startups. And there will be a follow-up for sure with all of you. And next year we'll do probably the same kind of panel and startup show and contest. So today, the 10 members of the steering committees had a second mission. It was to vote after learning from 10 astonishing startups that accepted to compete in our first HLF show and contest. And I have to say, that was really, really difficult. I know that because I had to vote. It was a torture. Yes, because, you know, it was unusual. Normally, you select one startup because of their product, their service, because, wow, it's just outstanding, amazing. But it was different. They were all perfect, all outstanding. So we had to challenge them on two different axes. The first one was the link with their ecosystem, and the second one was how their product or service can be resilient and how it will be beyond the crisis. So the vote. To announce the nominees, I would like to welcome on stage Lea Pelosi. Please, Lea, take a seat or just stand. And Sebastien Linden, who is our moderator and who chaired today the Startup Show and Contest. So, tell us. I have no idea. I just given my vote, and that's all.
Thank you very much, Karen. Good evening to everyone, and hello for those who are still connected with us from all around the world. I am very honored to be able to open this prize-giving ceremony tonight. And as Karen said, it was kind of tough to be able to vote because we were today having 10 different candidates, different founders and co-founders from startups from all around the world. And just to quickly wrap it up, these 10 startups were presenting themselves and what they're doing by responding highly topical questions through a nice movie, presenting them. And it was a great occasion for us to get to know them better. This movie was then followed by an enriching roundtable that was moderated by Sebastien here on stage with me, and who also bring together some of the candidates, the finalists from the startup show, and some of our giant ecosystem close partners from GEM, from CEA and also from Grenoble Invest Hubs, which is really important for us because they are deeply taking part of our ecosystem of innovation. This competition has been for us a great occasion to actually confirm the fact that we have to connect or to reconnect the startups with the innovation ecosystems, especially in the current situation. First, to push the cutting edge innovation from both deep and low techs, to be able to attract and to keep talents in our ecosystem and the institutions of ours, but also to include them in the very global discussion about innovation as they are major players of the world that we are building for tomorrow. So I gotta say that all of our 10 candidates from this morning, they were all very inspiring, and they are all already very connected to their local ecosystems, and they are really ready to go even further for the coming months. But also, they got all the strong desire to go even further and to start to build some new partnerships with some international new ecosystems, which is great because this is everything that the HLF is about. To build, to create, and to grow a strong community of international ecosystem of innovation, and then to share and to improve each other's experiences. So for those who were already here watching this movie this morning, maybe you've been recognizing me from the very end of the video. I was the one asking the startups to express themselves in only one word. Well, I gotta say that has been very inspiring to me because they were all, despite the current situation, very optimistic, very positive, and very enthusiastic about what is going on right now. And I could catch some very inspiring words such as dynamism, excitement, growth, empowerment, opportunities, and even limitless. This is how they feel. And on top of that, I gotta say they are extremely concerned about the planet we are all living in and how they want to play a role in moving toward a better society. So they were talking about change, they were explaining about their hopes, and they were also having a volunteer and a strong desire for a positive impact on the world we are building for our children. The COVID, and that's been said during the whole day, is right now and is likely to stay a long-term agent for change. Change is pretty much everything in the way we act, in the way we work, in the way we produce, we consume, we live, and we interact with each other from all around the world. And I think that today was a perfect example for that. So it's quite easy to imagine the massive impact that the COVID and the pandemic at its large is having on the way that startups have to think or completely rethink their master plans. And I can say that nevertheless, they were all ready to adapt and to rethink their plans. So last word that I get from them that I found also very, very inspiring was the word proudness. And I personally think that they can be all really, really proud of what they've been achieving until now and of what they are ready to put in stage to be able to go further and to keep developing them and growing their business and their plans. Even the situation is kind of tough. So also, I gotta thank them because they can all be proud of the video they made for us this morning, and all the content was really, really impressive, especially when you think that we give them like just a few days to make it so. So without them and without their work on that, it would not have been possible for us to have the startups show and contest. So again, thank you for participating. So now let's go to our point, the actual prize giving. So today, as Karen was explaining, we are giving 3 different awards in 2 different categories. One is innovation ecosystem, because this is our thing. And the second one is a little special 2020. It's beyond crisis category. So now let's maybe start with the second prize of the innovation ecosystem category. And this one will go to a startup who was convincing our international jury with its capacity to show how they interact with their local ecosystem in a win-win collaboration state of mind. So I propose that we now reveal who is our winner. And the winner is Serenus AI, co-founded by Hilary Harrell from Tel Aviv in Israel. Congratulations to you and to your team, Hilary. Thank you also for being here this morning with us for the panel discussion. That was a great way to meet you, at least virtually. This is really, I think, something that you deserve. Congratulations to you.
Yes, but it was not part of the contest. We have to insist.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. It was an additional discussion to go further on this discussion that we have been talking through the movie. And it was a great occasion to have them on live as well. So it was a great way to meet you, Hilary, and also the other ones that were with us this morning. So maybe, Sebastien, you want to announce the first prize.
So now I'm going to announce the first prize. The winner is not Hilary. It's Alfred Wu, the founder of AI Plugs from Taiwan ecosystem. Congratulations, Alfred, to you, to all your team. And we all hope to see you next year in Grenoble, here at the Maison MINATEC on the giant campus. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you, Sebastien. And I think now we can go to the winner for the third award of the day, which is the one for the Beyond Crisis category, which is pretty, I gotta say, topical for this year. And this one is going to the startup who was convincing our jury with the way that they got strong post-COVID perspectives, and also they are ready to grab and to catch some opportunities from the current situation to keep building their business, but also to participating in a better world for tomorrow. So the winner is, for that category, well, you got it before me, right? Originaire, Susan Blanchett from British Columbia in Canada. Congratulations to you. Bravo.
Well done.
Well done to you. And best luck for your continuing adventure on what you are currently building. Congratulations.
We're happy to see your eyes now.
So now I'd like to again thank Sebastien for helping us during the whole construction of this startup show and contest. Thank you very much, because you've been really helpful in the whole thing, actually. And you also brilliantly conducted the discussion this morning. So I was thinking maybe you could just give us a word to express your feeling of today.
Tonight, I also feel very optimistic after listening the CEOs and founders of the startups and all the actors of the innovation ecosystems during the day. They create solutions to cope with the crisis and to build our new future. So I'm also proud to be part of the Grenoble ecosystem and to be part of the HLF community. Now, what should we do with all these ideas, this optimism? Of course, boost all the interactions between the actors of innovation, keep developing connections between the ecosystems worldwide. And I also think that we should commit and spread a culture of innovation. In a time of crisis that hits the whole society, I find it particularly important that innovation is not considered as a separate sector of the economy, but as a representative part of the whole society that contributes to a better world for all. Richard, in the previous panel, said that the pandemic led to the recognition in the society that science is important. However, sometimes in some countries, we can feel that innovation is a thematic that divides the public opinion, whereas it should play a major role in the integration of the society. We also talked about social innovation, about the importance of the citizens. So I'm convinced that we should talk to all the actors of the society, the people who think that innovation has no impact on their life, the artists, the young generations, and others. So one word to summarize my feeling tonight is committed to building and promoting innovation for the society with the society.
Great, thank you very much. And I guess that's a great way to conclude. And just to think, you're more than welcome in the HLF community, Sebastien. So now I am pleased to give the floor to my colleague Julien, which is the HLF office manager, who is going to introduce the closing ceremony of today, because it has to have a close. Welcome, Julien, on stage.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you, all of you. And congratulations to all the startups and, of course, the winners. We look forward to meeting you next year during our HLF Summit.